Alaskan Minister, the rate of completion within the legal timeframe in Bord Pleanála has dropped from 79% to 64% between 2016 and 2017. And in that period as well, we've seen about 11% reduction in staff. An average completion time of applications moving from 15 to 17 weeks. So in that context, I want to ask you the status of Bord Pleanála's adherence to statutory timeframes for planning decisions, and if you have an update on that in relation to additional resourcing for the board to be able to meet the additional activities and the additional demand, indeed, on Bord Pleanála.
Minister.
Thank you, Alaskan. Thank you, Deputy, for the question. Under Section 126 of the Planning and Development Act of 2000 on Bord Pleanála, where the board has a statutory objective to determine planning appeals within 18 weeks, where the board does not consider it possible or appropriate to reach a decision within 18 weeks, for example, because of complexities of the case or a requirement to hold an oral hearing, it will inform the parties of the reasons for this and will indicate when it intends to make its decision. It is acknowledged that there has been a reduction in the board's compliance rate with the statutory objective period over the past year due to a number of factors, including a significant increase in the number of cases it has received. At the end of October of this year, the compliance rate for normal planning appeals stood at 38%, and for all planning cases, the rate stood at 43.5%. A range of measures have been taken to address the situation, including the appointment of additional board members. And I'm satisfied, taking account also of the increased Exchequer grant of 18.5 million for the board in 2019, a 7% increase on this year, that the measures involved will enable the board to significantly improve its compliance rate. Indeed, the number of cases decided by the board in the 10 months to the end of October of 2018 was up 26% on the corresponding period in 2017, and the board's output is now at about 250 cases per month. In relation to large housing developments, it's important to note that new streamlined arrangements have been introduced to enable planning applications for strategic housing developments to be made directly to the board. And at the end of September of this year, 39 such applications had been made, the board issuing decisions in 29 cases, all of which were made within the prescribed 16-week time frame, delivering 100% compliance in these cases. In addition, planning appeals in respect of housing developments of 30 units or more are prioritised. The board currently has a complement of 11 members, including a new chairperson who took up duty on the 30th of October of 2018, and an extra board member who was engaged in June of 2018, in addition to the normal complement of 10 members. The board also employs over 150 staff members, including the 10 additional dedicated staff that were engaged in 2017 to support the strategic housing division, which has a 100% compliance rate. My department will continue to liaise closely with the board to ensure that it has appropriate resources to support it in the performance of its functions. Thank you.
O'Brien, 1 minute.
Thanks for your response, Minister. I think we'd all agree that the compliance rate at 38 and 43% is 43.5% is incredibly low and falls way below what would be required. I do welcome the additional resources that have been allocated to the board, but the reality of it is I think the figures would be even lower if the requests for additional information and further information in some way actually mask the real figures of completion. Anecdotal evidence that I have from across the country is that there are large schemes which have been 18 months and longer with Bord Pleanála going through a series of requests for additional information. And in some instances that is perfectly correct, but I think we've seen an increase in those requests for further information. So when do you believe, Minister, that we will actually be able to get back within, or have you a target date to get back within the statutory timeframes for planning decisions? You've mentioned the 39 large housing developments that have been submitted directly to the board. You will know as well the amount of work that goes into the pre-planning for those and the discussions with the board in advance of those applications actually being lodged. So I'm wondering, are we looking for Bord Pleanála to do too much with too little resources? Because the figures certainly bear that out.
Ministers, 1 minute.
Thank you, Alaskan, and thank you, Deputy, for your follow-up question. In relation to the fast-track planning process, which I think is very important, a response that we've made in relation to the current shortage that we're seeing, the board has, within its statutory timeline, so within the 100% rate that I talked about, approved 5,400 homes and 4,400 student spaces, and it currently has another 3,000 homes on hand to make decisions on, and it will do that within the timelines that have been given to it. We have a new chair who's gone into the board now, who's come from the department, who's fully well aware of the challenges that we're facing in planning in general, because he was involved in Project Ireland 2040, but more specifically in housing, because of the work that he's done in that area as well. An additional board member was appointed this year to help deal with the specific difficulties that we're facing in housing. I'm currently considering appointing another board member to deal with that. Another change I'm considering making is actually reducing the quorum that's necessary for decisions to be made on smaller cases, because we don't need to have the same number of members potentially adjudicating on smaller cases versus the larger cases, which could be a significant number of homes. That said, if it's more than 30 homes, it's getting special attention anyway. That unit with 10 people that's dedicated and working with 2 board members is producing results when it comes to housing. But of course, I have responsibility for more than just housing, and so I am working with the new chair and the board to drive up compliance rates generally across the board.
Yeah, thanks, Minister. I do think the idea of reducing a quorum for smaller cases and setting a threshold lower would be a sensible suggestion, when we would actually be a good use of resources to look to see how we can work smarter there. What I would ask, though, has the board themselves and the new chairperson actually set a target completion rate within the statutory time frame for 2019? Whilst you're in the response that you've given, there appears to have been some recent improvement there. Again, I think we need to see vast improvements in that and delivery on it. So has the board and the chairperson set a revised completion rate within the statutory time frame for 2019?
That's Eoghan, and thank you, Deputy, for your follow-up question. I mean, to reiterate, hundreds more cases are being submitted this year than were in the previous year and the year before that, recognising what's happening in the wider economy. And as a result, hundreds more cases are being decided on every month and had been in previous periods. I welcome your support for some of the changes I'm considering making to actually help the board itself better manage its resources. The new chairperson took up his position 14 days ago. Now, that said, he's been working with Ombudsman Manola for a number of years. He's been in the Department of Housing for a number of years, so he has an idea of exactly what he wants to do. He is independent of the department, though. The board is independent of me. But no doubt he has already taken up that task, and in my first engagement with him as chair of the board, my first official engagement, I have spoken to him informally since he took his appointment. We'll be discussing these issues.